Okay, so introduction again. Hi, I'm Rich. This is conditioning for BrAMS, a wonderful online class running collaboration with the BrAMS Physiotherapy team down at Southmead. So what originally happened is prior to lockdown, over at Hallfield Gym, I ran a bunch of classes for BrAMS, and since lockdown happened and we couldn't get in the gyms anymore, we took those classes out of the gym area into the virtual world, which is where we are today. This class is designed for people under the care of the BrAMS Service, who have been, kind of assessed and who have been advised that they're suitable for these classes, those kinds of things. So if you are one of those people that's spoken to maybe Liv or Sophie or somebody like that down at the BrAMS unit and they put you this way, great. Come on in, let's have a look and see what we can do today. Please only take part if you feel safe to do so in any way. Any kind of problems that you deal with, any kind of pains or issues that you'll find throughout the class, please take a step back, kind of bring yourself away from it. Don't work through any issues or any discomfort or anything like that. That's not what we're here for. We're here to gain confidence through movement patterns and through perfect moving patterns. So we're not trying to do as many reps as we can. We're not trying to go as far and as hard as we can and all those kinds of things. We're here to develop confidence through the movements and also to kind of push ourselves a little bit towards a little bit maybe a balance, a little bit of more kind of this, that and the other, those kinds of things. Ultimately though, if you've got any issues though, refer back to your physio, your neurologist, whoever you're dealing with at the BrAMS department, and discuss it further with them. That said, in today's class, a couple of things you will or will not need. You'll probably definitely need a chair. My recommendations for a chair have changed because this week I recommend not only do you need a sturdy chair, a chair that's not going to slide all over the place, not going to move, but also I'd also recommend a chair with arms, okay? Let's make sure that when we try and do some of the movements and we're getting in and out of the chair, that we're using the arms so we can get a nice, solid, even-based push out of the chair, those kinds of things, rather than using surfaces and those kinds of things to help us. So yes, not only do you need a chair that's not going to break, not only do you need a chair that's not going to slide away, that can take you away, all those kinds of things. Also thoroughly recommend getting a chair for today's class with arms in it as well. Dining room chair, you can be like me, pulling a patio chair from the garden, something along those lines from there. It's a nice sturdy chair. What I'd also recommend is if you want it is grab yourself some water. Now those of you here last week will know that I had a catastrophe happen when I reached over and I knocked my drink over. So this week you'll notice I've got a bottle with a lid on just in case that happened again. So you're not going to be able to laugh at me this week, Liv. Some of the movements, if you are kind of challenging yourself today, challenging your balance, challenging your kind of comfort level, maybe you might need a surface, a kitchen surface, a table or something like that. Each of the movements that we're going to go through today do have kind of different challenging levels for you. So you might find yourself that there are some that you just want like a kitchen side or a kitchen surface to work off of, help with balance, those kinds of things. You can use the back of a chair. Obviously, if you've got a sturdy one, it's just dealer's choice here. It's kind of what's a personal preference to you. So you may also want a side to help you as well. That's about it. You might want a towel or something like that if you do get super sweaty. You might want some music on in the background. One of the old jokes back in the day was the fact that at Hallfield the music that was being played was horrendous and it was never great to work to. So being in the home environment, you can pop your own tunes on in the background, your favourite Spotify playlist, those kinds of things, and get on with it from there. It is a virtual, it is an online class. I obviously can't see what you're doing, so I can't help correct you or anything like that. So please listen to your body. You may feel minor discomfort in certain areas. Kind of areas you should feel it in is muscularly, so in the actual muscles themselves. If you feel anything in and around the joints, I do recommend pulling back, trying to re-establish a correct movement pattern, because we shouldn't really be feeling any pain or strain in the joints themselves. We want to feel it in the muscles, a soft burn, mild discomfort is about as much as we want. So if you feel anything like that, do draw back. Also, if you feel any kind of sudden pain, any stabbing pain or anything like that, that's certainly a sign that we don't want to be feeling as well. So certainly pull yourself back from there. Like I say, it is an online class, and so if at any point you want to say something, mention it, talk to the other people here, those kinds of things, you can drop a comment in there live. There's about a 10-second delay between myself and the comment section, so if you do say something I don't mention it or anything like that, don't be worried. I will maybe catch hold of it. Obviously the screen's down here for me, so I might need, not look down those kinds of things. But you can ask questions if you want to in there. You can say hello to everybody else in there, all those kinds of things as well. This class, as well as last week and every further class that we're going to do online, is also going to be uploaded to the YouTube page. I'll start posting out the link for the YouTube page this week. So what you can do is, if you're not here live, you can catch up on the Facebook page. You can catch up on the YouTube page. You can do multiple classes a week, revisit them, all those kinds of things. So you may be at work right now when this is live 11:30 on a Wednesday, but you're actually doing this in your own time. So the library of classes will increase week on week, so you can get after it when you see fit. Anything you can't do today, don't feel like you have to do it. By all means, set an extra round out, those kinds of things. We're only looking to do as much as you feel comfortable with doing today, okay? Now that said, what we are going to do, let's get warmed up. Let's get our movement patterns firing. Let's get our body ready for the action today with our warm-up. So I'm going to start in the chair today, and we'll start from the legs and we'll work our way all the way up. So we're just going to start with our foot, okay? So we're just going to draw some circles with the ankle. Nice big circles all the way around one way, and then a nice circles all the opposite way around as well. And you're trying to take each one through the greatest range of motion as you can, whatever that feels like for you today. So just drawing circles. Then we're just going to draw circles with the knee. Once again, it's all about the biggest range of motion you've got today through the biggest movement you can. So if we've just got a slight little knee raise today, that's fine. If you've got a real big circle going on, that's fine, and we'll go the other way as well. One of the things I want you to kind of concentrate on as well whilst we're doing this is, although we're only doing a small part of our body which is moving, let's concentrate on that upper body posture, okay? We'll move over to the other leg now. Once again, straighten that leg a little bit and big circles with the foot. Maybe you've got your heel on the floor through your toe circles. Maybe your heel is off the floor, but you're going around one way. Nice and slow and controlled. So yeah, that upper body posture. So let's sit up in the chairs. Try and think about putting your shoulder blades into your back pockets. You'll notice how that rotates your shoulders back and pushes your shoulders down, and we just sat up straight throughout. We take the ankle the opposite way now. So just like when you were in school assembling, you were told to sit up straight, that kind of thing. We're trying to just sit up straight, get a good posture on as well. That core's engaged to support it as well. So now we're going to do the knee circles. And once again, maybe it's just a leg up, down, leg up, down. Maybe the toe stays on the floor the entire time. Just as big a circle as you can draw with that knee is all we're looking for. Round and round. And let's go the opposite way as well. Good big knee circles. Good. Now I'm going to ask you just to come forward in the chair just a little bit. Once again, we're still maintaining that good body posture. And all I'm going to ask you to do, maybe it's just about your butt cheeks left on the chair now. Hands to stabilize ourselves if you need to, is we're just going to march on the spot. So this time the knees are just going to come up as much as you can. Okay? Now what I want you to think about is, I want you to think about this movement in relation to your walking gait. Alright? So in theory, we want our knees parallel to each other. So they're staying apart from each other, they're not coming into each other or going further away. They're staying that same distance apart. Tricky, I know. And I also want you to think about your foot placement. So we are trying for the most part to place our foot down nice and quietly on the floor. We're not raising it and then dropping it. It's a nice controlled down motion as well. And now I want you to move it up a little bit, change it up a little bit, and rather than just up and down on the same spot, I want you to take it out a step and then back in a step. And once again, whatever your range of motion dictates today. So we have taken ourselves to the edge of the seat, so it just allows you, especially if you've got arms in your seat, it just gives you more space to move the legs. And maybe it's just your toes dragging or your heels dragging, but right now we're just trying to move that knee as high and as wide as possible on each and every movement. Good body posture throughout. That's key right now. That's what we're concentrating on a lot as well, is that upper body posture. So just think, it might be the legs which are doing the moving at the moment, but your core's engaged right now, the body's engaged, upper body, all those kinds of things. And it's all working. We're developing those strength pathways through the brain to keep us in that body position. And now our feet, we're just going to go forward step and then back step again. So we go forward, and it's really, once again, as far as your legs will take you. Maybe we're even sliding them forward and back. Maybe we've got barely any knee lift. Or maybe we've got a real big stamp going out and then back again. A big one like I would imagine a Tyrannosaurus Rex type step. Once again, the whole time, good upper body posture. And we're just going to do a few more of those. Nice and controlled. Once again, we're trying not, if your knee comes high off the floor, we're not letting that leg just drop on. As much as you can, keep it going under control throughout the movement. Good stuff. All right, lovely. Okay, let's take ourselves back on the seat just a little bit. Hamstrings, so the thighs are on just as much as our bum. Good upper body posture, and we're just going to look to do some slight turns from side to side. Nothing too strenuous, not pushing ourselves into it or holding it, nothing too jerky. So just a nice twist both sides. Maybe you take your hands, if you've got arms on your chair, over the hand panel every single time on each side. Now, we're going to keep doing that. Once again, like I said, it's nice and slow and in control. Now let's bring the elbows high and do it. So see if we can keep our elbows up at that shoulder level and get as much range of motion in there as possible. You almost feel your shoulder blade at the end of every motion. Just kind of squeeze a little bit. Click, click, and then back to the middle. All right, this time we're just going to take our arms open and then back in. Open, back in. So the elbows are pretty much staying up at that shoulder level. And we're out and back in. Lovely stuff. We'll give those shoulders a little shake out there. Little shake out, little roll. Okay, so hands on shoulders. And we're just going to rotate and draw circles with the elbows. So we drew some circles with our toes, with our knees. Now we're just drawing some circles forward with the elbows. Draw some circles backwards with the elbows. Once again, we're trying to go as big with those elbows as possible. Great work. And if, let's see, bit of fun really. Let's see if we can go one elbow forward and one elbow backward. That's tricky. Trying to get the mind to do that, that's tricky. And then let's go the other way around. Just to really confuse the mind today. Good stuff. Okay. Last thing we're going to do then is let's just take the arms out, just little circles forward. Try not to knock anything over. Bigger circles as you can. Once again, it's nice and slow and controlled. Hands to the bottom, hands to the shoulders, hands to the bottom, hands to the shoulders. So now the elbows are static, we're just flexing, bicep, tricep, bicep, tricep, okay? And let's bring the hands all the way to the top now. Same thing, to the shoulders, back up, to the shoulders, back up. Pull with the bicep, push with the tricep. Like you're taking a throw in on the football pitch, or you're signifying someone's hit a 6 in cricket, or something else, putting a box up on the shelf if you're not sports orientated. There we go, lovely. Okay, little warm up done. Maybe we're a little bit breezy, a little bit looser now than before. Okay, so well, the way that it works, and I have completely forgotten to get a stopwatch ready for this. We're going to do 8 rounds now. Each round is going to be a work for 45 seconds. Okay, so 45 seconds of one movement, and then it will follow up with a 90-second rest period. Okay, so we work for 45 seconds, we rest for 90. What happens during that 45-second period is we do as many perfect reps as possible. There's many different kind of challenge levels, so you can find the one that fits with you today. Don't be afraid to start at the bottom with a few reps, and if you feel comfortable with it, kind of challenge yourself a little bit more. And in the same vein, don't feel like you can't, if you start too high, you can't drop down. Remember, it's perfect movements we're looking for, not as many reps as possible, okay? Form first, always, always, always. During those 90 seconds rest, I'll talk to you about either the movement that we've just done, I'll make a really bad joke, but I'll also explain the next movement we're going to do. Each movement will have some key points to think about, to give you something to key in on, those kinds of things. So our first movement that we're going to do is just going to be sit to stand, okay? So we start in the seat when we want to take ourselves out of the seat and then place ourselves back in the seat, okay? Loads of variations on this one that we can work through, depending on how you feel today, all right? We've got the sit to stand, so we're sat down, bum, all the way through the bum, then we stand on up, okay? Great. We've also got, now we've got the arms in our chairs, we've got hands on the arms to support us, to help push ourselves up, and also bring ourselves down. We've also got, we could just do little bum lifts, so feet firmly placed on the floor, arms to support, and just a little lift up of the bum, and then back down. A little push up with the arms, with the legs, back down. Key points, I want you to be pushing with the legs, okay? Get your weight over the legs, so you might want to be a little bit closer to the edge of the seat, get those feet underneath you, and you're pushing up with the legs, okay? All right, so 45 seconds of work, that's what we've got. Starting in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So maybe you're just doing the bum today. Up. We've just got the slightest little motion up. Whichever one you're doing today, we want to especially pay close attention to that second part, that coming back down to the seat. Okay, maybe we went all the way up. We want to control that coming down motion just as much, okay? We've got lots of pushing work going on. Those pushing muscles are very, very good at being used because they spend a lot of the day pushing you away from the gravity. So that's controlled on the way down just as much as we can. All right, less than 5 seconds. Keep it going. Nice, slow and controlled. There we go. Okay, so we got 90 seconds. So that's great. So this is one of the important movements, and it's always going to be our first exercise in the class every week. We're going to do it a lot because it's a movement which probably has the most effect in our lives every day. Part of this class is for us to keep doing movements and to train movements which will improve daily life. And obviously the sit to stand, you know, it's dinner tables, desks, toilets, coffee shops, wherever you are, that movement of going from a seated position to a stood position is so important. So we want to make sure that we're confident with it the whole time. We do want to be pushing up with those legs, so even if we're just using the arms or going just the bum. We want to be loading those legs and lots of weight through the midfoot as we're pushing up, and then as we come down as well. Full control up and down. Okay, so the next movement we're going to do is a forward fold. From our seats, I recommend bums back in the seats, and all you're literally going to do is keep that good upper body posture, so those shoulders back and down, and you're going to forward fold, okay? You're going to keep your head up, looking in the distance the whole time, as you're just going to fold us through the longest range of motion you can, and then raise all the way back up again, all the way down. So you're essentially bowing, okay? If you want to try it, you can try it standing up if you're confident there, those kinds of things. Otherwise, the other way that we can do it while stood up is we can just forward fold onto our surface and then back up to standing, okay? So however you feel like doing it today, whatever your challenge level is, we've got 45 seconds in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So it really is keeping those shoulders driven back and that head up, looking at the one spot on the horizon throughout that we're looking to do. Okay, if we're in the seat, we can feel that core engaging to help ourselves bring ourselves back up again. And don't go light on your feet. Make sure you've got good contact in those legs through the movement as well. Okay, don't just let them hang or anything like that. Maybe we're up on the standing. We want to, if you are doing it standing, you want to soft bend in your legs as you're moving through the motion. Okay, just a nice little soft bend, using the arms to cushion it in to support you as you're folding over and returning back up. Okay, there we go, good work. There's our 45 seconds on that forward fold. Changes where we work depending on whether you're seated or stood up. When you're seated, there's a lot more core work, maybe a little bit of lower back as well. When you're stood up, there's a lot more work in the hamstrings as well. That's one of the places you may have found it loading through that movement. Okay, so the next movement, if you're in the seat, we are taking ourselves to the edge of the seat. Once again, bums at the edge of the seat. And all I'm asking you to do on this one is taking the leg as far to the side as you can, and then bringing it back to the middle. Just as far away to the other side, and then back to the middle. Once you're comfortable with that, when your foot goes out, I want you to lean towards wherever that toe is pointing, okay? Big foot, lean towards that toe, okay? If you want to take it a step in front of that, then what I'm looking for is like a side lunge situation. So if we're out of the seats and you're using the backs of your chair, for example, then it's just a big step out to the side and then lean towards where those toes are pointing. It's just a step out to the side and you lean to where those toes are pointing. Same situation if we're using our surface, okay? Hands are on the surface, one step to the side, wherever your toes are pointing, the knees going, and there's a slight lean towards it and then back, okay? Wherever you are, whichever version you fancy today, okay? Set yourself up, get yourself ready in position, and then wherever that toe is, the knees are following, and we bring ourselves back, okay? So 45 seconds, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Step out to the side, and then we're back, good. We've got the good leg movements. Once you're happy there, leg movement, push the weight towards those toes, towards those toes. So as your leg's out, you're putting more weight on that foot that's taking that step towards the side. That's 30 seconds. If we're up on our feet, remember you've got your feet on the surface, it's a step. Knees towards the toes and then pushing back to that start. A step out towards the toes and then back again. We got about 3 seconds to go. There we go. Okay, good stuff. All right, so first movement we did was the forward fold. Great. This time we're going to attempt the side fold. So once again, we're going edge of the seats now. Okay, we've got good posture. Now all I'm going to ask you to do is take one hand, dealer's choice which one first, and you're just going to reach down to the floor as far as you can go and then back up. Down to the floor and then back up. We're trying to push down, so the part of your leg which is just about hanging off the chair. I mean, you take your hand and you roll it back to your body like that, you're going to feel where the chair is. That's the kind of area you're aiming towards down. So you could possibly feel the edge of that chair the entire time as you rotate towards that side. Good body posture, shoulders backing down. If we want to take it an extra challenge level, when you're going up, let's bring the arm up as well. And then obviously the opposite way as well, for that arm to drive on up as well. You can try and do this from the standing position if you want to, bracing yourself and just kind of folding towards one side. From there, maybe even you stand up and just drive a hand down your leg as well. Those are two options there if you're comfortable standing with your balance and those kinds of things. But for now, we're set. We're ready, bums on the edge of the seat for 45 seconds. Let's go. Down to that side. Remember, we're just trying to take it nice, slow, controlled the entire time. Almost with all of our movements, we want to start thinking about like a rhythm. So maybe 1, 2 seconds. That's as far as I can go. 1, 2 seconds back. So we've got a good rhythm going throughout the movement. Maybe even hold it for a brief second at the end of your range of motion before you come back up. Maybe that arm's going up as well. Just about 10 seconds left on that movement. Last few reps. 2, 1, lovely stuff. Okay, we're going to go after our calves now. So the backs of our shins. And we're going to basically do the same movement, either seated or with the surface. It's completely up to you. But all we're looking to do is go up onto our toes as high as you can, pushing those heels off the floor and then back down. Like with a lot of our movements, this is a good timing one. So we're going up and we're not just dropping our feet. We want to spend as much time slowly lowering the heels as well. So it's that pushing up, releasing down. 1, 2 seconds up, releasing down. And you'll pretty much know when you're at that end of the range of motion because you'll feel those hamstrings go. So once again, it's either from the seat, or if we're up out of the seat, we can use a surface to stabilize us as we push those heels up and bring them back down. Calf raises. 45 seconds in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So remember, all of our seated positions, we are looking as much as we can to stay with a good posture. Okay. Now, if it's hard to it's hard to concentrate on getting both legs to go up at the same time, take it one at a time. So maybe we'll go left leg first. That's my right leg. Good. My brain's not engaged. Then the other leg. But just remember, we want a good slow routine. 1, 2 seconds up. 1, 2 seconds down. Calf muscles, beautiful pushing muscles, super, super important in our walking stroke all the time. Right, we got 5 to go. Nice, slow, controlled. There we go, good stuff. Okay, so we're going to look like cheerleaders for this next one. And if you remember last week's class, we did a whole bunch of punching. We did a forward punch, we did a side punch, and we did an overhead punch. What we're going to do is we're going to combine all 3 of those into this one movement now. And so from the seat, you're taking a nice relaxing sit, so we're not on the edge, so we'll shuffle back in that chair just a little bit. Maybe now, if that core's starting to fatigue a little bit, we've got a little bit of support there on the body. But basically what we're looking to do, punch out in front, 1, 2, punch out to the side, 1, 2, punch up above, 1, 2, there you go, and then we repeat, so it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we've got whole 6 punches, 2 forward, 2 to the side, 2 high as a little routine. Okay, so we're there, good posture, punch, punch, side, punch, punch, up above, punch, punch. Okay, that's it, 6, and we're just going to repeat and repeat and repeat. Okay, try and get as much extension throughout as you can. Push it to the complete range of motion that you can. Try and not lean into anything. Try and not leaning forward when you're punching forward. Try and keep your feet engaged with the floor. Try and keep those heels under your knees so you've got a good engagement on the legs as well. Here we go, 45 seconds, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Really work on those full extensions. So just like with every other movement, think how fast it goes and try and match the return pace at the same time. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Same at the side, 1, 2, 1, 2. Same above. Or whatever your rhythm is. See if you can get it just nice and controlled and even. Straightening those arms. Pushing those shoulders to the end of their range of motion. Great work so far. And if you're really keeping that upper body posture nice and secure as well, that's great. Obviously the next stage up from this is if you're comfortable in the chair, as you can try this standing as well. Almost through, last few punches. There we go, there's our time, great stuff. Okay. Next one we've got then is we've got a few knee raises. Okay, so we did do some knee raises in the warm-up. Now one of the things we're going to do with our knee raises is just control them just a little bit more during this section. Okay, we're going to use the knee raise as, we are going to move it up obviously, but we're going to hold it off the floor at the end of that range of motion before we return it to the floor. Okay, so we want to be on the edge of our seats for this one, and it's good posture, and then it's just raising the knee. We're going to hold it for a second and then return it to the floor. So it's all about the holding of that knee up. What I want you to try and concentrate on is not leaning into the knee at all or anything like that. Try and keep that posture back and over your hips, which are sat on the chair. Very important to stay hydrated. So if you need a drink, don't be afraid to take it. So that's what we're going to do. The other thing that you could do is if you want to take it out of the chair, if you're over your surface, it's the same situation. We can take the knee high, as far as your range of motion allows you to do, and then you're holding it there for a second, and then you're returning it to the floor. Okay, so we can do it from a surface position as well, and then back down to the floor. So we've got a kind of couple of levels that we can really challenge ourselves on there for these 45 seconds. And they're going to start in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay. 1 second hold, remember. Whatever your range of motion is, if it's just a little knee raise today, that's fine. But you're still holding it there for a second. And give yourself a generous second as well. Okay? Not just like a whoop, and then down, up. Give yourself a 1 and then slowly down as well. So like I say, it's just about control. We're holding, the glutes engaged, that's your bum, and then back down. Up, a hold, and then back down. You've got about 10 seconds. Let's see how many more perfect holds that we can get at the tops of those reps. From there. There we go, good stuff. That's our knee raise. And then our final movement is we're going to do some body twists. So depending on how you feel today, depends on how much you want to challenge yourself with this one. So earlier we did those side folds. What I'd like you to do, we're on the edge of your seat again, and this time rather than going down to the same side, you're going to take your hand down to the opposite side. So we're just going to turn, stood, hand across the body down and try and touch the floor, and then back to seated. Down and touch the floor, back to seated. As you're reaching down, maybe that hand is standing, is holding on to that arm and then helping you push yourself back up and help your core engage, those obliques to unravel and bring us back to standing, okay? To seated, sorry. So we've got that nice twist of motion. You are, like I say, it's a nice controlled motion, nice and slow. It's not jerky or fast or anything like that. But that's it. Do it all the way down, all the way back. Maybe you even want to start with your hand high. So we bring a high arm rise, then and all the way down, and then all the way back up, and then we start again on the other arm from there. Okay, so we've got 45 seconds. 3, 2, 1, let's go. That slight over twist, and then back to the middle. That core, super important that we're engaging that core through into the twist. What the core does is it's like a girdle all the way around. It's a girdle of muscles, a couple of layers worth. Deep muscles as well as the ones on the top that you can usually see. Okay, and what they are there for is when we tighten it, the whole thing tightens up, the core becomes much more supported. Okay, so it does help move it. More importantly, it helps stabilize that spine through movements. So really, anytime you're moving your spine, you want that core engaged to some degree to support. 2, 1, there we go. Okay, and those twists are done. Good stuff. Okay, that is our 8 movements for today. We're going to go through them one more time. This time what we're going to do is we're going to drop it down to 30 seconds of work, followed by 60 seconds of rest. Okay, so 30 seconds of work with 60 seconds of rest. It'll be the same 8 movements, so we've got the same key points that we want to think about for each of those. Okay, so starting from the top, it's the sit to stand situation. Remember, we're either just doing the bum up, bum down. We've got a little movement, bum up, as much as you can get out today. Back down, support the arms. That's why I've got the arms on the chair from there. I do recommend, if you're doing that, is bringing your elbows behind the body. Okay, bringing the elbows behind the body rather than flared out. Okay, anytime you bring a joint into any movement, it makes it much more tricky for it to do. So over here we've got multiple joints in it. Back here we're locking away certain ranges of motion. So there's a much more stronger push there than there is having the arms flared out. So keep those elbows back. That's my recommendation for the push. Maybe we're going all the way to standing. Remember, we're pushing out through the legs and coming down nice and slow. Maybe you're happy enough to just kind of cross your arms, keep your arms out the way in a prayer position on your shoulders, and you're pushing up from the seat from there. Okay? However you're happy doing today, we've got 30 seconds in 3, 2, 1, off we go. So it's just nice and controlled. And remember, the back down, we want to keep that back down motion nice and slow as well. Wherever you are, whatever your movement pattern is today, think about getting that bum up out of the seat and then just bringing it nice and slow back down to land. Last 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good stuff. Okay. Forward fold. 60 seconds rest, remember. Take some drink if you want to. Wipe away any sweat that might be there. Get the cat out the way, wherever it needs to be. Forward fold. We're on the edge of our seats for this one. Sat up nice and straight. Eyes on that horizon. And we're just keeping those shoulders back as we forward fold. We keep our eyes up the entire time. And then back all the way up. Okay, we're doing it from standing over a surface. We're coming into the surface, the bum's pushed back as a slight knee bend. We're pulling in, forward fold at the hips, and see it's coming up my hips, it's not coming up my back. So keep those shoulders back and down from there. We can just reduce it just a little bit of movement with just the arms here. Okay, keeping a flat back position, pushing up and down from there. 30 seconds, off we go. Forward fold. Once again, we've got a little bit of spine movement. We are trying to keep a neutral spine throughout this movement. By neutral spine, that means it's not curling up forwards or backwards or anything like that. So core engagement, squeezing that belly button, pulling it back towards your spine, is going to help support that position. Help keep that position. 3, 2, 1. There you go. 30 seconds done. Side lunges next, remember, depending on how you're going to do it. Once again, bums on the edge of the seat. It's the big step out to the wide side and we push our weight through towards that toe. We come back all the way through and then back. Remember, we're always aiming towards our toes. Anytime that knee moves, it goes towards the toes, nothing else. Maybe we're out of our seats, same situation. Foot to the side, however far you're comfortable with, and then the knee pushes towards and the body to the toes and then back. Or alternatively, maybe you're using your kitchen surface or your tailboard or something like that. We're bent on over, we've got to step out to that side. Wherever those toes are pointing, that's where the weight's going. And then we bring ourselves back. Appreciate you can't really see my toes on this one from this position, but you can see what my body's doing. I'm trying to keep those shoulders back and down as we move forward and then back from there. Okay, so 30 seconds, off we go. So step, body movement, and we're just changing that body angle as much as we can. That center of balance is shifting towards that leg. Feel comfortable with the movement as much as you can. Remember though, keep control. It's all about control there and back. Maybe we're stood up. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Good stuff. Side lunge-ish, side fold-ish. Bum on the edge of the seat still. Good body posture. Arm scraping down that chair to the floor, side folding. Both butt cheeks are staying on the floor. It's not on the floor. On the chair as you move through. It's the shoulders dropping. Okay, the shoulder is basically going down your side, okay, as much as you can. Try and remove as much forward kind of lean and those kinds of things as we can. Just to the side and back up. And remember, if you want to shoot that hand up as well, put a little bit of extra work in there as well. Get the shoulders getting involved. By all means do. Okay, dealer's choice, but we're going for 30 seconds in 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Nice controlled movement. And remember, if you want to use that hand, so the hand which is not being used, okay, you can hold on to one of your arms to help bring you up and down, whatever's more comfortable. You may find that holding on to that backside arm allows you to anchor it a little bit and then support with the pull back up. You may find that you want to use the same side arm to push away. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Lovely stuff. That's our side fold done. Back onto the calf raises next. So remember, good body posture. We're on the edge of our seats. Our toes are facing forward. Our knees are facing forward. We're not collapsing in to do the movement. They are parallel. We don't want them coming next to each other. You can almost feel like you've got a football in between your knees, kind of, or a ball or something like that, so they can't get close to each other. And it's just high heels, hold, slowly back down. High heels, slowly back down. And if you're out of the seat, it's the same situation. On the surface, high heels, back down. One of the things I mentioned towards the end of the last round is, if that's too much for you to concentrate to get them both at the same time, just do one at a time. Okay, we can do it standing one at a time. Still get a good full extension on there from standing, just like we can from the chair. Okay, but you are just looking to get it to the end of the range of motion as much as you can. 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Maybe you're doing one at a time right now. Maybe 2. Remember, we're controlling that posture, that good upper body posture throughout. Shoulders are back and down, however you've chosen to do it. Final 10 seconds. Good work. With those knees staying away from each other, nice and parallel. There we go, lovely stuff. My favourite one, the punches, just because it feels like we're dancing, and you can ask any of the lovely people from the in-gym class that we used to do. One of my favourite things to do during the warm-ups was to basically do dancing. That's all it was. It started off as a joke that my warm-ups made everybody look like they were dancers, but towards the end I was subconsciously training them to be dancers. Little do they know. Forward punches, side punches, overhead punches. 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good posture. Let's go. Forward, forward, side, side, up, up. Okay, one at a time. Oh, forward. One at a time. When the second one returns, the first one goes out. When the first one returns, the second one goes out. Good rhythm, good posture, good extension. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, time. Good. Okay, punch is done. We've got the knee raises next. So the high knee, hold the knee, then replace, okay? The hold is the important part of this. We're not trying to go full dynamic up, down, up, down. We are looking to pull that knee to the furthest range of motion that you can get it today, and then hold it there, okay? And then control the descent, okay? I keep going on about kind of controlling the removing part, the returning part, okay? We want to control it as much as you can. Think drunk teenager trying to be nice and quiet, we're in the house. We don't want the traditional, we want that successfully getting home and sleeping quiet situation going on. All right, 10 seconds. And remember, good posture, bums in the seat, up as high as we can, and then nice and slow to return. If we're up on the surface doing the same work, leaning, control there, up through the range of motion, nice and slow back down. But it's that 1 second, maybe even challenge yourself with a 2 second hold before we return it to the floor. 30 seconds, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Hold, 1, return. So maybe you've got a whole rhythm going on. Maybe you're doing 1 second at a time. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Maybe you're on twos. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Whatever it is. 3 seconds. 2, 1. There you go. Lovely stuff. All right, and our last movement of the day. We've done it once already. We're going to just twist out for the last 30 seconds. Thumbs at the edge of your seat so there's space to get down to that floor. And once again, rather than just taking your hand to the side, you're now going across the body. You got that shoulder driving down. We're trying to keep both of those butt cheeks in place. If you can control the knees as well so they don't kind of flop around or work off each other, you keep them kind of parallel the whole time. Core engaged, all those kinds of things. Loads of things going on. Loads of different muscle sets being challenged right now for this one. And that's it. It's just through the greatest range of motion as you can. Maybe you get to the floor. Maybe you're like me and you don't get even close to the floor. I blame my long gangly legs. But maybe you will have more success at getting through towards that floor. Either way, 3, 2, 1, 30 seconds, off we go. And if you need to use the arms, once again, don't feel like you can't use those arms on the chair to support you. Holding on for balance and then to push yourself back to that start position. If you haven't got arms on your chair, maybe this kind of idea will make you think about your chair choice next time. Maybe you'd like that little bit of extra assistance so we can perfect those movements. Remember, if something's challenging, it's okay to bring the challenge level down till you feel comfortable and confident with the movement to do it more at a more difficult, challenging area. There we go. All done. Okay, so that's our 8 movements for today. We're going to finish off with some stretching. And because I'm a huge fan of stretching in the chair, we're just going to do all of our stretches from the chair. I thoroughly recommend stretching is a really, really great way to do many things, mentally, physically, all those kinds of things. And I really do recommend you do it consistently. Doing stretching once a week after this class, yeah, I mean, it's fine. It gets you into a certain mindset that you know what to expect and those kinds of things. But to truly kind of feel the benefits of what stretching can do for you, it's something you do need to take up consistently. And you can sit in your chair in your front room watching TV whilst you do these things. because that's exactly how I do it. I stretch maybe 2-3 times a day. Every time I'm stretching, I'm sat on my bum watching TV. Okay, so maybe you'll get an idea of how you can do that in this 5 minutes or so, and at the end of these classes, and just to get a few ideas of these things that you can kind of take off into your own world and kind of help progress your range of motion and those kinds of things. Okay, so first and foremost, we're just going to pop those legs flat on the floor. We did the forward fold motion earlier. We were keeping our back nice and straight, drawing our shoulders back, but this time I want you to completely forward fold. That back can bend over, that's fine. You're just looking to go down as far as you can to the floor and then just hold it there. A nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, that's when you really want to be challenging your range of motion with any of these stretches. So as you're blowing on out, see if you can take any of your stretches a little bit further. Each stretch may feel differently for different people, depending on your tightness, how your body's made up, and all those kinds of things. You might find stretches in different areas than anybody else. Let's go ahead and take your right hand and just see if you can place it on the opposite side of your left foot. So you've got the arm coming across the body. And now take your left arm and just reach it behind your back, okay? If you can get it as far back as your opposite side, your hip, so your right hip, then great. And then we just unravel ourselves, bring the left arm across the body to the opposite side of that right foot, and then use that right hand to go around the back towards the opposite hip. Okay, we'll unravel ourselves again. Maybe using the arms of your chair if you need to. We're just going to roll on back up into the chair so we're sat up again. We're going to go through all that again, but this time, let's just kind of straighten our legs out just a little bit. So our heels are a little bit further forward this time. So now, once again, we're rolling forward. Now we might feel a little bit more warmth, a little bit more loading of your hamstrings. Nice deep breath in, remember, and on the exhale, you're pushing that little bit further through from there. And then let's go for our slight adjustment. So we're taking that right hand, it's going over the left leg. And then that left hand is going to go all the way around and try and get towards that back side hip. And then we're going to unravel and do the same the opposite way. Left hand over the right leg. Right hand round towards your left hip. Okay, let's go ahead and unfold somewhat. Let's bring our bums to the edge of the seat. We're going to take our legs out wide and just put our heels on the floor. Straighten your legs somewhat. Don't lock out the knees. We don't want to do that. But good wide legs is fine. And then all I'm going to ask you to do at this point is just slide your body weight towards the ankle. Just as far as your range of motion is going to let you go. Remember, heels are planted on the floor. You're comfortably on your butt on the chair. I'm not asking you to kind of roll up towards any kind of standing position. Make sure you're nice and secure in your body position. And then back up, and we'll roll down to the other leg as well. And then back on up and bring our legs in to a good seated position. So you're going to now, let's bring our left leg flat out in front of us. Take your right leg and just cross it over that left leg, okay? Now you're going to take your left hand round to your hip and just use the back of the chair to open up that way. So we've crossed our legs one way, we're opening up, good posture, shoulders are back and down, over one way. Keeping the legs crossed as they are. Let's now go ahead and take ourselves all the way around to the opposite side. So once again, hand to that hip, opposite hand to hip, and then that arm on the chair to bring ourselves around a little bit more. And we're coming back to the center line. Let's uncross our legs and cross it the other way. If you want to put a little bit more into these stretches, what you can do is just bring that foot that's crossed over flat to the floor somewhat, okay? And then just do the same things. So hip and chair with that twist round, keep the shoulders away from the ears. And then all the way around to that opposite side as well. Nice big twist as well. Good, back to the middle. And we're just going to sit back into the chair now. Fingers crossed you've got the space behind you to do this. There's no wall behind you or anything like that. If there is, you might need to adjust yourself slightly, but we're just going to take the hands both behind the back and the chair. Link the hands and just push them down and away from your shoulders. So one of the things you'll find with this position is how it makes your body feel, with that driving down and away. Those shoulder blades towards your back pockets. That's the kind of position I talk about when I talk about good posture. So if you kind of picture what that, remember what that feels like right now. Now it's a slightly exaggerated version because we're constantly stretching it now, but that's the kind of feeling that we want to be pushing on our back when we're in those positions. And then in front of the body, you're just going to bring one arm across, pull it on in. Don't need any twisting or anything like that. It literally is just that palm across shoulder position. When you can't move it anymore, then pull it on in. And we're going to go ahead and do that same one with the other arm, straight across shoulder level, pull it on in. Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. That was week 2. This is a brand new class, as you're more than aware, those of you that are here. If you've enjoyed it, great, let us know. We love hearing all of the feedback. You can like the video, you can leave a comment on there as well. Let us know you've been by that kind of thing. If you've got any feedback, anything you'd like to see more of, those kinds of things, something that's in your routine or you've been advised to do by one of the people down at BrAMS, and you would like to see it in here, pop me a message, something like that. Chances are, if it's something that's going to help develop yourself, it's going to help other people in the same situation with MS, those kinds of things. If you're not doing the class live and you're watching this on follow-up, either on the Facebook page or the YouTube page, once again, still leave a message. Let us know you've been by. One of the interesting things that's happened out of this whole process is we've seen more people and more every week are using it away from the live time. So let us know when you've used it, what time of day it is, all those kinds of things. It's all good to hear. We're looking for as much feedback as possible. And as always, if you are on the YouTube channel, do click a like on there, subscribe on the YouTube channel, so that, anytime new videos are uploaded there, you get pinged and all those kinds of things. All right, brilliant. That's all for today. Have a great rest of your week. I won't see you next week, but I'll be here same time, same place next week. And a high five before we go. Yeah, high five.